This song is called the Queer Song. Gender.
Gender's a bizarre thing.
Gender is this enormous spectrum and maybe isn't even on this line anymore.
It's more of a conversation than a category.
Categories tend to be uncomfortable for me.
Anything that works to categorize people also serves to divide them.
I identify as a straight cisgendered male and a feminist and an anarchist.
I'm Rosa. I'm a girl.
My name is Michael. I am a male.
I think that gender is a myth.
I like that the more that I learn about it, the less that I kind of definitively know.
Mainstream media is crucial in maintaining the narrow view of a gender dichotomy, male or female.
Hollywood tends to say, like, this is what a woman is, this is what a man is, like this machismo built kind of like, whatever, women are supposed to be subservient and beautiful and whatever, makeup and all that stuff.
Yeah. Picture this. A rustic hunting lodge, my latest kill roasting on the fire, and my little wife massaging my feet while the little ones play on the floor with the dogs.
That myth has a lot of space in it. Because we create it, we give it meaning. The trouble of it comes, I think, when the myth becomes too narrow or too stagnant or too prescriptive.
Because for a long time, why I couldn't accept that I was a woman or a girl was because I felt like every depiction I'd seen of trans women was very, very feminine, was this very much concentrated on trying to like pass as a woman and wear lots of makeup. If Joan Jett can be a woman and wear leather and pants and shit like that, then there's no reason I can't also be a woman and do that.
The way I play with or experience gender myself is more like it's a playground. I gender myself in different ways depending on the day, depending on my mood. And I like playing with all of the like genderized things in our society, like clothing or speech or movement.
We can be a definitive spot, we can be somewhere all over the place. We can really make up our own rules when it comes to this stuff. And at the same time, we don't live in a world where it's safe to do that.
Success is definitely a masculine concept.
So when I say that my gender is male, someone might assume that means I am a dominating figure, that I'm strong, that I want to be in charge, that I want to be an achiever.
Manhood is all about keeping up this masculine facade, and so that's, why men have to be like, it's not a purse, it's a, man satchel or something, and it's like, because the word purse is too associated with femininity, and you have to disassociate yourself with that.
Being seen and not heard or not acting disturbed, it's just speaking out when we are queer.
The masculine conditioning I've had growing up has been about closing myself off, and part of being a girl is sort of saying it's okay to have that, it's okay to act the way I want to act, dress the way I want to dress, do all these things, whereas the category of man has always felt so, for me at least, so constricting.
I babysat this kid named Casey who knew he was a boy, even though everyone else called him a girl, and even though he was born with girls' body parts. And that was something, when I knew him, it was just kind of a matter of fact, like, this isn't something I'm struggling with, this isn't something that, like, is this terrible thing, I'm just a boy, and I know I'm a boy. And whenever we would play games, Casey would play the dad and the brother in house.
We just have a society that's very against being emotional and having authenticity.
Growing up, I was told I was male, and I internalized that. So that's part of my identity, that's who I was. But now that I really try and think about it and see what I feel about it, I don't feel necessarily male. I don't feel female either, though. I identify with gender neutral because I'm not confined by what society standards for each of the genders are.
If you're a man and you've been socialized that way, or you're being perceived that way, you're expected to not have any emotions. And if you're a woman, you're expected to have emotions, but you're called emotional and you get criticized for it.
When I was about 16, I was in high school studying biology, learning about intersex people and learning about gender diversity in plant and animal life, and decided that I didn't believe in gender anymore, that humans made up this abstract concept, and it's an overlay on reality. It's not really reality itself. So I decided I don't believe in gender, and I had a female name, the name Chandra, that I always kind of was like a little uncomfortable in, and decided I wanted to have an androgynous name to really give myself the space to express myself and my gender however I want to in any moment, and to have people not be able to try to make assumptions about me based on my name, or if they do, to kind of mix it up and interrupt those assumptions. So I changed my name to Sam, and that feels much more comfortable to me.
Personally, I was never explicitly discouraged from being emotional, but I did have the sense that there was something odd about it. Not necessarily bad, but that it was atypical for me to feel emotions, to show emotions, particularly as I got older.
I often feel a pressure, whether it's from myself or from outside, to dress more femme, especially because I was in a situation where all these people had known me for a long time, and not as Rosa and, not as she. I felt like I needed to differentiate myself and say, look, there's something different here. You can't just treat me as totally, the same.
I have a student literally a month and a half ago came up to me and said, "Hey, Mr. Adams, I no longer go by Daniel. I want you to address me as Danielle." I was like, okay, awesome.
I personally don't believe that having gender to classify people is a good thing.
I identified as genderqueer for quite a while, but it took me even for a long time after that, and actually after I started identifying as a girl, to ever wear a skirt or lipstick.
See myself as a dynamic human being that's connected to both what my culture has told me are masculine traits, but also feminine traits as well.
Inside of one human being, I feel that it's no matter if my physical body manifests the yang energy, because inside of me I have yang and yin energy.
I want to be someone who is compassionate and caring and nurturing and considerate and hospitable, all these traits that as a child I was told, this is what your mom should be.
I'm not trying to identify myself only with one side of the polarity. I just try to see the whole picture, like the yin-yang symbol, to recognize that if you only see one side of the wheel, you are losing the whole perspective around.
You know it's a cruel situation, but don't you give up so soon.
When you're transgender, specifically with me trying to be able to get access to hormones and stuff, you get asked a lot of questions around that, they're not always quite so blatant about it, but sort of how do you know you're female? Describe why you think you need this, and it's when I go on estrogen, probably within a year or whatever, I will start getting read as a woman. Not because I'll be dressing any different. I could be dressing much more masculine than I am now. Most of a gender perceived is not presentation. It's based on people gendering other people based on mostly secondary physical characteristics.
You will step from above, and you shall be loved all the same. Shall be in love.
I think about Casey a lot, and wonder if he still feels so safe and proud of who he is, and if the world's kind of battered him down, or if he has sort of continued to be able to be himself.
Maybe society needs to wake up a little bit and start questioning the status quo.
'Cause there's beauty in your reflection.
Gender is a meaningless category. That's all it is.
There is, a whole other world of alternative media or popular media that is much of it working to expand that myth.
In every moment have the freedom to be who I am. And I really want that for everybody. I want that for all humans on the planet, so that we can really be ourselves, and from that space of feeling supported in being ourselves, I think people thrive with like creativity, intellect, compassion.
It's just going to take a whole lot of work.
We just need to loosen that dogma and like push against it, and not necessarily throw out the trends or throw out the concepts of male and female, because those do provide meaning for people, but loosen the whole thing a little bit so that it is more fluid, and that it can affirm a broader spectrum of identities.
I live in a time with really inspiring sort of genderqueer folks who are fighting that cause and letting us know how to support them, so that like the world can be more safe for Casey.
This song's about love. This song's about getting free. This song's about breaking free out of the boxes that people try and put you in, specifically around your gender, or around your sexuality, or around your politics, or around punk, or around anything. This song's about letting people be who they need to be and letting yourself be who you need to be. And these things coming from your heart, and that being really special and really important and really beautiful. It's a celebration. Thanks, everybody.